Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a good day, and above all else, that you are indeed looking after yourselves and one another, because that is what's most important. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I introduce the topic of yet another fantastic, scintillating episode, I want to welcome
My
back to the
God.
channel Mr. Jim Bricker, the man of the hour. How's it going, Jim?
I'm I'm ready to be scintillating, I guess.
There you go. There you go. And the one and only Ken Cheshire. How's it going, Ken?
Going well. Thanks for having me back.
Thanks for coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with 50th Album Anniversaries, Part 2 for the month of March 1975. Now, in Part 1, we have 10 albums to cover for this particular month. So we very um, intelligently thought, you know what, let's split this up into two segments and make it easier for us to do and make it easier for you to digest,
It's
sonic
really all about
digest.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not customer
Exactly.
focused at all.
Exactly. So we have come back with a second list of five albums that have been released in the month of March 1975. Okay. March 1975 was a busy month.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, how can I describe this list? Eclectic
Eclectic.
is the word. Was that what you were thinking? Oh, there you
That's what
go.
I said.
Great,
Eclectic.
great minds think alike.
That's
I
right.
was
Now,
gonna say it's eclectic.
eclectic. There's a reason why he does that. All right, moving on. Okay. Again,
Dane Bramage, that's what it is. Dane
okay,
Bramage.
there you go. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have again a list of five albums to cover with you. I'm going to do the introduction of the album and the information, and I'm going to pass it off to, oh, I don't know. It's going to be a free-for-all this episode.
Oh
And
joy.
we're gonna have fun, damn it. All right. All right.
Okay.
Our first album
I
on
didn't
this
know fun
list
was gonna be involved.
of album anniversaries, 50th anniversaries part two, was released on March 24th, 1975. Oh boy, when Leonard Skinner, okay, release releasing the album. Nothing fancy. Uh oh boy, through MCA Records. uh, has a playing time of 37 minutes and 34 seconds. Listed as Southern rock and blues rock. It was recorded in January of 75, with the exception of track number one, recorded in August of 1974, produced by Al Cooper. There you go. There's the information. Now, I'm going to pass the virtual mic over to, let me see, Jim.
Oh, come on. I thought you
Go
let our
for it. Go,
resident
Jim.
Southern
Go,
boy go for it. All right,
go,
all
Jim.
right.
Go.
Go, Jim, go. All right. Nothing fancy.
Go, Jim Dandy. Go, Jim Dandy. Go for it. Okay.
Let's take the glass half full approach on this first.
Really?
Uh, there's some pretty good Southern boogie on here. Um, and it's got it's pretty much your archetypal Southern rock with, some occasional color here and there with your obligatory mid 70s Fender Rhodes, some harmonica that comes in. Um, as I think back to my own like middle school years, certainly Saturday Night Special was a FM radio staple from the stations that I frequented. If they weren't among the, half a dozen Skinnerd songs that they played, usually Saturday Night Special was one of the ones in rotation. But that's the only one that I was familiar with from this album before
Yeah.
listening. Um, you know, um, a few comments on particular tunes. Am I losing? I wanted to like this one more than I did. There's like some good stuff about it, but overall, I just kind of found it meh, like most of the album, frankly, except for Saturday Night Special. Um, That's the only one that really sticks with me. The song On the Hunt, I thought, oh my God, is that guitar riff ever going to stop? It's just incessant. It's like, you're being chased by, Freddy Krueger down a hallway, and he's never going to stop until you put a bullet in his head. And then, even then, he's still going to keep coming and coming. And that riff is just going to keep going and going and going and going. Can you tell I got annoyed with that song pretty quick?
Like the
Um,
Energizer Bunny. Go on.
yeah. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, nothing. I mean, I never was a huge Skinnerd fan. It just wasn't in my wheelhouse. And, if you were to throw half a dozen Southern bands at my feet, I would always pick the Allman Brothers just because
Yeah,
that's one that's kind of closest to my, you know, I'll, jazz proclivities.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, nothing fancy is mostly a forgettable affair for me. I mean, I get why it was popular because it kind of stuck to that Skinnerd playbook that was started very, very well with their pronounced album, the first album. There's some really good stuff on there. But then it just seemed like with this one, it just kind of it's just kind of forgettable. It's just a retread of a retread of a retread.
Okay. All right. Ken. Okay. Go on.
Yeah, having grown up in the South, and Skinnerd was Skinnerd was big. They were the first Southern rock artists that I was familiar with. It was actually quite a bit later that I heard Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
But I think part of the strength of this album is having Al Cooper at as producer.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, Al Cooper has an amazing history, um, having done all kinds of things between from performing to producing to whatever. Um, this is when Leonard Skinner was had three guitarists at the same time, which still to me is like really three. However, they
Oh,
wouldn't
there's a
stay that
however.
way,
Okay.
and two of the guitarists, Gary Rosington and Alan Collins, they're kind of like um, the Allman Betts team in the
Sure.
Okay.
album.
I get you. I get it. All right.
They work just very, very well together. They complement each other very, very well. Um, Saturday Night Special is an incredibly strong opener for this album. Um,
I would agree.
and actually, the following song, Cheating Woman, I really quite like that song too. The rest just fall into line. Um, Nothing particularly standing out. This album is, um, like I said, having grown up, it was very popular. I mean, all the Skinner albums were very popular where I grew up. And in
Yeah.
'75, um, I was in high school, so it was all over the place. Um, this album is kind of like its own entity. The fact that there's one song that particularly stands out.
Mhm.
It's an album. It's like I said, two songs I particularly like. The rest kind of fall in line.
Yeah. I
Um,
get it.
it's an album. The rest of the album is of its time, which I use that term a lot, and I'll be using it later on
Okay.
again. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a reason why a Saturday Night Special was the only single off of it, and I haven't. And actually, thinking about a video we did recently of uh, Skinner falls into that category as you really only need a greatest hits.
Simply
They
the
really do.
best.
Um,
Absolutely.
unless, like I said, unless you were a hardcore fan, which a lot of um,
Yeah.
Southern people of my generation are. But other than that, like I said, It's not timeless, but and yeah, it's okay. Um, I have it over on my CD shelf, but I can't remember the last time I blew the dust off of it.
Do
So
you
yeah,
happen to recall, Ken, are besides probably Saturday Night Special, are there any of the songs from Nothing Fancy that were featured on Two for the Road?
I don't remember.
That was a deep cut question. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I can't remember the last time I listened to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, no, I can't.
No,
It's just no. Saturday Night Special is a good song. It's a good. I agree with Ken. It's a good, strong opener, album opener. Cheating Woman, mm-mm, can't get behind it. I just it's his vocals. It's Ronnie Van Zant's vocals. I cannot.
sure,
yeah, it's an
They're
acquired taste.
they're an acquired
sure,
taste. Sour. I don't. Some fantastic guitar playing. The production, Al Cooper's production is great. Um, the drummer Artemis, sorry, his last name escapes me right now, and escapes you too. Okay, um, he's a good drummer. You know what? Aside from the opening track, there's nothing on this album that really grabbed me at all. Uh, yeah, yeah. Yeah. You heard of the curse of the sophomore slump?
Yes.
Well, this is the chasm again. This is
The third album, Chasm.
yeah. Well, the third album, chasm, whatever you want to call it. I thought this was their second album. My apologies. Um,
Second Helping was their second album, if I
that's right.
believe.
That's right. Second album. Okay. Um, this was the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, in terms of
Oh, well played.
good save,
Third album, three-sided figure, well played.
good. Yeah, there you go. I can come up with them too. Um, there's nothing on this album that really spoke to me aside from the lead off track. Um, and it's sad because I mean, they were fortunate that it was released at a time where record companies would give you a chance to get your, hone in your craft and your sound and your style, where you could be labeled in terms of your music. But there's nothing on this album that really does it for me at all.
They're
Sorry.
lucky that their first one hit it out of the park as hard
Yeah,
as it did.
yeah, yeah. It's Van Zant's vocals. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
well, I think they're mostly a regional genre.
Yeah,
The Allman Brothers broke out of that because Allman Brothers really did dig into the blues. So that made them a little bit more accessible for other parts of the country. So
I would pick Allman Brothers over Lynyrd Skynyrd.
sure, I would too.
I
Yeah.
mean, okay, it's just okay. I know Freebird and Sweet Home Alabama, but I'm not I'm not one for Leonard Skinner as a group to
Sure.
listen to. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, we must continue with our list here.
Before we continue, I want to make a prediction that
Uh-oh.
on this episode that there are three of our selections today, of which Armando will just say no.
No.
And this is number one.
Yeah.
We'll see how I do.
All right. The second album on our list today, five, released March 27th, 1975. Rick Wakeman, The Myths and Legends of King Arthur. Released on A&M Records. Recorded October 16th to January 12th of 1975. Produced by Rick Wakeman. Recorded with the New World Orchestra, English Rock Ensemble, and English Chamber Choir. Now, has a playing time of, where is it? My goodness, 44 minutes and 57 seconds. just shy of 45 minutes. Okay. Now, according to the notes I read on this album, ladies and gentlemen, uh, Rick Wakeman having left Yes due to the unsatisfactory musical direction the band were going in with Tales of Tropographic Oceans, he went headfirst into or continued with his solo career and was recording at a breakneck pace and writing. And he suffered a heart attack
I didn't know that.
during, just on the tour previous to this. So, what does he do when he's convalescing? Writes more music.
Yes.
And he wrote this album. Um, yeah. Okay.
So this is the period that also has Journey to the Center of the Earth,
Yes.
Six Wives of Henry VIII,
Yes.
right? Okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Both released on A&M Records. So, without further ado, who do I pick on first? Ken?
Thank you, Armando.
There you
Um, having been a Yes fan, I first discovered Wakeman's solo music with Journey to the Center of the Earth, which I still to this day really do enjoy that. And there's probably a large part of that is nostalgia, just because, it's been 50 years or so. Um, Myths and Legends, I thoroughly enjoy too. It's part of what I call his historic prog duo
Yeah.
with this and Henry VIII. Um, I love the way he mixes his band with choir and orchestra. Of course, he did the same thing with the other two albums Jim already mentioned. Um, I think it's great that it's self-produced. He did it himself because that's a lot of musicians to juggle,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think he did a wonderful job at it. At the time, um, the only thing that I wouldn't say that I don't like about it, but for his synthesizer flashes, it's usually that same sound, which of course, synthesizers weren't as um, flexible as they are now.
Yeah.
We're talking 75.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's understandable. Um, but and to me, he was a wizard. The fact that even with Yes, he would come out with the long golden cape and um, uh,
Yeah. That was his
just the
trademark.
way he would come out, and just like royalty or whatever, and then just blow everyone's doors in and whatever he was doing on the keyboards. Um, and I think we are very fortunate to still have him with us today
Yeah.
and making music.
Hmm.
He's one of those that, oh boy, really overdid it with, especially with drink.
Yes.
So many stories of, getting ready to go on stage. They would keep a bucket off the side of the stage, so he could, throw up before going on, to perform. And supposedly, even when he was three sheets to the wind, he was still amazing, playing. And
Yeah.
and apparently part of that's in his genes because his son is a fabulous keyboard player too. You
Oliver.
know,
Oliver Wakeman?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Um, so anyway, having said that, this isn't a large step away from what he did with Journey to the Center of the Earth, but it's different enough in the subject matter and what he did as far as the style of the songs and whatever to fit, the Arthurian legend.
Yeah.
Um, I don't listen to it very often. But sometimes I'll just find myself like, I want to hear me some Wakeman. And then what I might do is put those three albums on one after the other, and have a wonderful morning or afternoon, whatever, and then I'll set it aside for another few months or whatever. So for what it is, I like it, and I like him as a musician. I have some of his later recordings that I still thoroughly enjoy his playing.
Okay.
He's also done a wonderful interview with Rick Beato that's enjoyable also.
Yeah, there's also a massive 36 disc
Yes.
box set containing no, Jim, I didn't buy it. Calm down.
I wasn't even
Contain
laughing at that part of it, but go ahead.
okay. Containing live
Yep.
concerts and full performances, from the 70s. And I didn't buy it, and thank God, because it's like $600 right now.
So if
No.
anybody wants to buy it for my birthday, I'll put the information, down below in the comments.
Oh, goody.
You could go in together.
No.
That doesn't
No.
count as one of my no's.
Yeah. Yeah,
No.
that's a dream box set for me. But oh well.
Um, okay. Well, there is a story leading up to the breakup with him leaving. Yes, while he was on tour, first of all, he and John Anderson were butting heads
Yeah.
because there was a certain synth solo section that on one of the pieces, I think it was Ritual, and John Anderson kept saying to him, could you please try and get it right for this performance?" Like, he bugged him to the point where he just said to Anderson, "I'm leaving the band. I'm out. You're driving me nuts. I'm leaving. We're done." During these performances, Rick Wakeman would get so bored with the performance, he would order himself dinner while he was on stage. One night they brought him a curry for dinner, and he's sitting there or standing there behind this massive banks of keyboards, and he's like eating curry, and he doesn't realize that he has to go back on it and continue playing. But anyways, it's just nuts. Anyways, yeah. Okay. Jim, Jim, sorry. It's one of those days.
Okay. Um,
Jim. Okay.
so there are three Rick Wakemans that I'm aware of.
Okay.
The first has already been mentioned by Ken, which is the wonderful interview that Rick Beato did with him,
I
where you
saw
just
that.
kind of get the sense of, he's just an old English codger who has a world of stories in him. And boy, you wouldn't it be great to sit in a bar and ply him with, Pliny the Elder and just hear all the great stories
Yeah.
from years gone by. The Grandpa Rick, the storyteller.
Yep.
So that's the
Hmm.
first one. The second Rick Wakeman I know is the one featured on an evening of Yes Music Plus, which is the Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, and Howe
It's on
release.
the way.
The show that I was at, and Rick Wakeman's, yeah, I'm gonna rub it in because it fits the story. Um, that was the Rick Wakeman that blew my head off.
Mhm.
His keyboard solo is just, it literally was jaw dropping. I literally just lost muscle control of my jaw and just did that. And then I regained my senses to start just yell my full head off,
Well, as long as
realizing
that
what this
was
guy
all
was
you
doing.
lost.
Excuse me?
As long as that was all you lost in terms of muscle control.
Yes, that was well played. Yes, that
Okay.
was the only muscle control that I lost was my jaw.
Good to know.
Uh, Good
I'm
to know.
happy.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So that Rick Wakeman is firmly planted in my head. The third Rick Wakeman I got to know is the one who produces an album called The Myths and Legends of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Let's be
Mhm.
complete. The album title is, takes as long to say as it takes to listen to the whole album.
Exactly.
Um, and it's a pompous, overblown train wreck of barely wanting melodic pieces strung together via Arthurian legend.
How do you really feel?
It's no.
Okay.
This is
Okay.
the third Rick Wakeman I know. And so I have to take all those together. So, great keyboard fluency, wonderful storyteller, at least on video. And as far as a composer goes who's left to his own devices, I never really want to hear another note from him. If he's doing, piano solo yes music or a Christmas album or maybe something that's a bit less riddled with pomposity, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Okay. No, that's enough. That's good. That's good.
All right.
Um, m- my take on it, no. It's there's a reason why progressive rock in the mid 70s was looked at as being overblown, self-indulgent, uh, pompous. And if you look up the meaning in the dictionary, this album picture, the cover would be in the dictionary. What puts it over the top for me is the choir. It, it's too much. I just I now I'm happy I didn't buy the box set. Because I wouldn't be able to get through it.
Sure.
As much as they said a year before that Queen 2 was pompous and overblown, this blows. I mean, this is bad. I'm sorry. I mean, as Jim fights to keep a straight face on that guy,
You
but
just said sorry. I love that.
sorry. It's
You
just,
let out your inner Canada.
oh my God. Tried and true. Okay. But no, no. And truth be told, I bought this album in the 2000s. I went on a bit of a Rick Wakeman binge, and I bought this and Six Wives, of Henry VIII. No, I just can't get into this. It's just, no. It can stay in the basement under the staircase where it is. So
Have either one of you listened to the his 2020 album called The Red Planet?
No, I haven't.
no, I have not.
How does that differ from Myths and Legends?
Well, he's using his English rock ensemble, which is his band, basically.
Okay.
Um, it is themed, the red planet being, of course,
Mars.
Mars.
No.
Um, I think it's quite nice. Um,
I'll check it out.
I
Thank you,
don't,
YouTube.
it's not as grandiose, like I said, there's not using, orchestra choir, flamingos and stuff like that. Also, what's worth just, dipping your toe into is this 2017 album called Piano Portraits.
I think I've
Uh,
heard of that.
yeah, I mean, it's covers. There's some Beatles in there. There's some Bowie in there.
Yeah.
Um, Led Zeppelin,
Hmm.
10cc, a little bit of Yes, um, a little bit of classical stuff. This is from Swan Lake.
Yeah.
Amazing Grace, Morning is Broken,
Okay.
Claire de Lune. So it really is a good sample of, what he can do when he just sits down at a grand piano. Um,
All right.
so it's almost kind of like a new age album, when you got a single instrument, just, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
but, but yeah, that's an album I like. He just put out an album. I think it's an interpretation of Yes songs on solo
Okay.
piano.
Okay.
I haven't listened to yet, but it's on my playlist
All
whenever I
right.
can get to it.
All right.
After I catch up with all the listening we do for this. But
Interesting. Interesting. Yeah.
uh and one of the nice things, if you're on X, Twitter, any of our viewers, um, he's a fun account to follow on X. He's
Okay.
got such a great sense of humor,
Hmm.
and like I said, he aged right into that one version of Rick Wakeman that Jim was talking about. He's just, the fun old grandpa that has lots
Yeah.
of funny stories and stuff like that.
Yeah. I get that.
Um,
Okay.
he's one of the few artists that I actually would like to sit, and have a coffee or whatever with. He's, like I said, considering how wild his younger days is,
Yeah.
he's mellowed in a very positive way.
Mm.
He just really seems like a nice guy. And the Rick Beato video interview just reinforces all of that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But this is definitely of its ilk. This is a particular style. This is 75. You know, Prague was, pushing boundaries and blah, 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 blah. And he was
Yeah.
trying this direction. Um, so it's fine.
Okay.
Like I say, I don't visit it very often, but if I'm in the mood for it, there it is.
All right.
But I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
I get it.
All right. We must carry on, ladies and gentlemen. Our third album on our list tonight, released March 28th, 1975. Like I said, March was a busy month for 1975. We have Ian Hunter, ex of Malta Hoople, self-titled, uh, recorded January to March of 1975, produced by Ian Hunter and one Mick Ronson. I believe you've heard of him. Ladies and gentlemen,
Mr. Ronson.
released through CBS in the UK and Columbia Records in North America, has a playing time of 40 minutes and 38 seconds. Now, who do I pick on now? Jim?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Ian Hunter, what to say about Mr. Mott? Um, well, we get the elephant out of the room. Once bitten, twice shy. Again, classic rock. That
Yeah.
was played all over the radio when I was growing up. Definite memories of hearing that in high school and junior high school. You know, staple of the industry at that time.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, as far as the other tunes on the album goes, I mean, there's a couple other nice ones. I like 3000 Miles. I think it's got a nice acoustic guitar melody that's
Hmm.
happening at the beginning of it.
Hmm.
Um, The Truth, the Whole Truth, and Nothing But the Truth, that gets a thumbs up from me. I think that's a fun song, pretty catchy. Um, there are elements of the longest song of the album, Boy, that I really like, that kind of stands out in a very Elton John meets David Bowie kind of
In a
way.
way. Yeah.
But overall, I find the Ian Hunter record, like interesting, and I'm not sorry that I listened to it, but I just don't think there was anything in there to sort of grab me to spur me to visit it again in the future. I mean, it obviously, once bitten, twice shy is already lives rent free in my head. And I know if I want to hear some really good Ian Hunter, I can, put on All the Young Dudes. Um, if I want to explore further Ian Hunter, Ken, check me on this, but didn't Jocko play bass on a later Ian Hunter record?
Oh,
Okay,
an
so
alien boy.
yep, so I would want to check that out to kind of hear what Jocko's doing on there. But really for this one, I it's not bad, but I just kind of give it a pass. It's lukewarm to me.
Okay. All right.
But it
Ken.
is very of its time with this,
All right.
kind of half glam, half boogie, it all kind of mixes in that pot of T-Rex, Bowie, Elton John, Mott the Hoople, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, I
yeah,
got you. I understand that.
that's my thoughts on that.
Okay.
Okay. Ken.
Armando, how long did you say this album is?
Oh, I fed into that one. 40 minutes and 38 seconds.
Okay. Um, I want my 40 minutes and 38 seconds back.
Do you? Okay.
I I
Do
never cared
tell.
for Mott the Hoople. Ian Hunter is vocal wise is the Bob Dylan of glitter rock.
Ooh. Okay.
Um,
All right.
Wow.
he really only half sings and half speaks, when he's singing. Um, I don't find it, I don't find, actually, the vocals for me are the worst part of it. A lot of the instrumentation, the band and everything is okay. Like you said, Jim, it's definitely of its time. Uh, I would suspect that the best part of this album is what Mick Ronson brought to it. Could be wrong, but yeah, I've never been a glam fan.
Mhm.
Um, and his vocals are just, you know,
All right.
no, it just nah, a little bit irritating for me, but yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
simple.
Well, my take on the album, I actually like it. I do. And for everyone out there, there is a limited edition box set, limited to something like 2,500 copies of all of Ian Hunter's catalog, 28 CDs, two DVDs called Stranded in Reality. If you can find it, get it. Because right now on Discogs, it's going for at maximum 900.
Someone really doesn't want to sell it.
At minimum price, at the lowest price, it's at 650. I almost bought this box set 2 years ago, but we won't go into that. It's before the courts. Anyways, I like this album more than I thought I would. I liked the lead off track, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. I never liked the Great White remake of it. I thought their remake of it sucked. Okay. I was never g- uh, a hair metal band fan. And then not even hair metal. They're just not good. Um, the production on this album I like. I like Mick Ronson's production. A lot of guitar, a lot of variety. Because I mean, Mick Ronson was versed in writing musical charts, orchestrations that Tony Visconti taught him.
Mm.
I like the drumming on this album, the production of the drums, thick snares and really good bass drum. Who Do You Love? It's I don't okay, it's fine. Lounge Lizard is a good track. Boy is intricate, introspective piece of music. Really good, really good. For me, the kicker of this album is The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. My God. Okay. There's a section, a vocal section where he comes in and he's just ripping on it. I mean, it's almost like you could almost feel like his throat's starting to bleed because he just tears into it mercilessly. And it's like, my God, you know. But I found that musically, this is a good album. Uh, I hear what you're saying about half singing, half speaking in terms of his range. I don't find that necessarily here all that much. Um, Not like you would with all the young dudes, even though I do like all the young dudes. Uh, I do like this album. You're not going to get a no from me on this one. But yeah, if you can get the box set of Stranded in Reality, get it, please. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Now, were you familiar with this album before our little exercise here?
I've I've heard of it, and I've heard of his follow-up All American Alien Boy. That
Okay.
came out in '76, featuring the one track You Nearly Did Me In, featuring Queen on background vocals. Um, yeah, Queen toured with Mott the Hoople on the Queen 2 tour, right, as opening act. So they're friends, right? So, but yeah, um, he's got a he's got a lot of albums. Like I never realized how many he's got. So, but I'm not one to gossip, so you didn't hear that from me. Uh, but we must move on, ladies and gentlemen. Next one on the list, released March 28th, 1975. Bad Company, Straight Shooter. Re- yeah, there you go. Recorded September of '74, produced by Bad Company, released on Island Records in the UK and Swan Song Atlantic, Led Zeppelin's label. In the US, it would be the last release for Swan Song. Uh, Bad Company featuring Paul Rogers on lead vocals has a playing time of 38 minutes and 17 seconds. Who do I pick on now? Ken?
Okay. For these five albums we're covering, for me, this is the diamond. Um, Paul Rogers is one of my favorite rock singers of all time. Um, this is one of the strongest sophomore albums, to my knowledge and in my opinion. Rogers has never sounded better than he has on this album.
Mhm.
Bad Company was, I love Free, Rogers' previous band, you
Hmm.
know, and but this is taken the best of what was of the band Free and just blasted through the ceiling. Now, a lot of that is because of advances in recording in the studio. And tell you what, the band having produced this, they took advantage of all the tools that they had in the studio to do. Um, it's got a killer uh, double opener with Good Lovin' Gone Bad and Feel Like Making Love. Two really popular. I mean, this album was all over the place
Yeah,
where in high school. And one of the few albums and bands of this ilk that I never got tired of. So, because at the time I was usually looking for something a little bit different than what was on top 40 radio.
I get you. I
Um,
get it. Yeah.
but yeah. And one of my favorite Bad Company songs, Shooting Star.
Okay.
Rogers could write just, standard, rock songs that were love songs or breaking up songs, whatever. But he was also very good at writing these stories that had a linear, the songs that had a linear story, that it was telling. And Shooting Star was inspired by the death of Jimi Hendrix. And as good of a song as it is, if you listen to it with that in your conscious mind, it just takes it to another level.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, this band is better than they probably should have been. um, because let's face it, it's got the distorted guitars and
Yeah.
and all of that all the other bands did in the mid '70s, but they just did it so well. Of course, this is
Hmm.
just my take on it.
Hmm.
But
Okay.
yeah, I, I I love Bad Company and I love this album, so it's three thumbs up for me.
Three thumbs up.
Yeah, these two and another one.
Leave it. Leave it there.
Let's just
Just
move on, Jim.
I can't begin until I've been given permission.
For a big mouth like me, I'm dumbfounded. Anyways,
Yeah,
Jim,
Okay.
it's official now. Yeah,
do
It
you
is
have three
you
official.
may
thumbs,
begin.
Jim?
Yeah.
No, no, I
Okay.
don't. Um, with the exception of the album from Mr. Wakeman, this whole album for me, or this whole episode for me, is late 70s, early 80s classic rock radio. And
Okay. Yeah.
certainly Bad Company, Straight Shooter falls right into that. In addition to the three songs that Ken already mentioned off Straight Shooter, Call on Me was also played on San Francisco Bay Area
Oh, okay.
classic rock radio as well.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and those are the four, Good Lovin' Gone Bad, Feel Like Making Love, Shooting Star, Call on Me. Those are the best four songs on the album. It's got 8 tracks, so batting 500,
Yeah.
and that is not bad.
Yeah.
Um, it's good for what it is. I am not a fan of this particular genre, but for this particular genre, it's really really good. I'm not gonna deny that. Um, it's just not in my. If I want to go listen to classic rock, um, I don't know, maybe this, the four songs that I mentioned, Led Zeppelin, Boston, they kind of epitomize different areas of the
Yeah.
classic rock sound for me.
Yeah.
Um, got a question about that, Ken?
It's just strange hearing Bad Company and Boston in the same
Well,
reference.
yeah, I mean, it's a totally different sound, but
Yeah.
yet that, guitar driven, you know, those guitar
Blues.
driven rock songs,
Yeah. Blues influenced. Yeah.
yeah. And the blues influences are loose. I mean, it's not
Mhm.
like Allman Brothers
No,
blues
no,
or
no, no,
Cream.
no.
Mhm.
So,
No.
but yeah, I mean, if I thought about it harder, I could probably throw a couple of other bands on there. But to me, that all falls in that same. I have vivid memories in high school and junior high of radio being played in like architecture drafting classes that I took in junior high and high school. So, I would always hear Boston. I would always hear Bad Company. I would always hear Zeppelin. Always hear, Roundabout by Yes. Those things are
Yes.
just, emblazoned in my brain.
Hmm.
And, I never went and bought a Bad Company album
Mhm.
because it all kind of it's like it all lived rent free in my head because I heard
Yeah,
it so often, whether it was from this album
yeah,
or, Running with the Pack or Desolation Angels or, all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So I think Running with the Pack was one of their albums, right?
Yeah.
The next one, yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
So yeah, I mean I think there's four really cracking good songs on this record, but I never need to go pick it up because it's already here.
I got you. No, I understand that.
But it's an album that I would say fairly epitomizes 1975.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. Well, my view on this album, um, you know, obviously the hit, Feel Like Making Love, even, Good Love and Gone Bad, two good tracks. Um, yeah, oh my God. It doesn't really, the rest really doesn't register with me. Um,
Even the other two, Shooting Star and Call on Me.
no, well, Calling Me, yeah, no, Calling Me doesn't at all, but Shooting Star, I can see, yeah, that is a good song. So you got three out of the eight tracks for me that are bangers, right? That kind of pull you in. The rest, meh, meh. Like, I mean, and there's a story. You mentioned Led Zeppelin, right? I mean, they're signed to Swan Song, and on this, their label. Well, they were doing a meet and greet with journalists and the record company execs. That company was for this album, and John Bonham walked into their dressing room and said, "Now, lads, the bosses are here. You have to be on your best behavior. No drinking, right?" So the drummer says to the band, rest of the band, "Look who's talking." And he's telling us to be on our best behavior, and look who's talking here. But I digress. Um,
Well, doesn't that story finish with Bono like punching him in the face or something?
something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's okay. I mean, I do like the song Anna. I do like that. Not because it's my sister's name, but which it is. Um, anyways, but
We got that.
stop. Okay, but no, it's a good. It's no. Again, three out of the eight tracks are good. One Anna is like, all right, track seven, but the rest it's really doesn't grab me too much. So this is a band for me where I would just have a greatest hits, you know.
Trivia question for you, Armando.
Go on.
Which member of Bad Company was also a member of King Crimson?
Oh my God.
Ken should know.
Oh, okay. I'm having a brain fart. Tell me.
Boz Burrell, the bass player.
Boz Burrell.
He,
Short-lived, obviously.
yeah, I mean, he was in the 71, 72 touring incarnation with Crim. So the only
Was
albums he
Islands.
appeared on were Islands and then Earthbound. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And I like Islands actually.
Hmm.
As a King Crimson album.
Yep.
Okay.
Robert Fripp taught Boz how to play bass.
Cool.
He
All right.
didn't know. He came in to sing and Fripp said, "You better do something." So I'll teach you how to play bass.
There you go. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we must
But
continue. Okay.
before we move on,
Yes.
Armando, what do you think about the album? I think I know what you're going to say that Paul Rogers did with your buddies.
Very blues oriented. Um, no, there's something missing there. Roger Taylor did say that he thought that that was one of their best albums, as good as anything they did with Freddie Mercury, which no. I don't agree with at all. But yeah, it's n and of course, he blamed the record company for lack of promotion, right? But I mean, yeah, it's not a strong album. What do you think of it as a side note?
I like it. It's not the greatest thing since sliced bread, but
Okay.
I I enjoy it.
Okay. 14 songs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
What about you, Jim?
Never heard it. I
Okay.
mean, obviously I know what you're talking about, but I've never heard it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And in
Moving
fact,
on.
I think the last Queen song I can remember chronologically would be Flash.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my God. All right.
I see my
Okay.
serious face.
Oh my God. He moved up to the camera. Okay. All right. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, to finish off this list of 50th album anniversaries part two. This is too funny. Um,
It's the
March,
appropriate title. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
March 29th, 1975. Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow. Recorded October of 1974, produced by Sir George Martin, released on Epic Records, listed as funk, blues, instrumental rock, has a playing time of 44 minutes and 35 seconds, so just under 45 minutes. All right. Now that we got the formalities out of the way, Jim.
Once again, this fits into the theme of things you hear on classic rock because it has Freeway Jam on it. So again, every album on this list, with the exception of Wakeman, kind of held a little gem for me. Um, I'm just gonna read some of the notes that I have next to some of the song titles and going through this and listening to it. Some jazz funk, brother. Oh, the dirty ass funk. Mo funk, prog funk. One is I just have under I had the word serious underlined about 4 times. And then I have oh the stank. I mean, this album is just fantastic. It is so good at bringing, funk and blues rock together. It's just I I think I've heard this once before, and like I said, I've obviously heard Freeway Jam on the radio back in the day. But wow, this is just such a wonderful record. It's half classic rock jams, a la Page and Clapton and whatnot, and half Billy Cobham Spectrum with a healthy dose of Stevie Wonder shoved into the middle of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Literally.
literally. And oh, I really, really love this record. I just had a big smile on my face the whole time. I'm typing out, the stank, going on listening to the Thelonious tune on song two. I just so enjoyed this record. Of the five, this is the easy winner for me. In fact, in kind of just looking quickly through everything we covered in 75, um, with the exception of Katie Lied, this is the flat out winner of the whole batch. If people haven't heard Blow by Blow, oh, you gotta do it. It's so good. It's so well done. Um, I
You're trying
I'm
to say, Jim, that you like this album?
me like
Okay.
me
I'm
like
just,
big time.
oh, okay. All right. All right. Don't even go there. Okay. Okay. Ken, your take on it?
Yeah, it slaps you upside the face with the funk
Yeah.
from the very opener. I think that She's a Woman is
Mhm.
very cleverly done. If you didn't know that that was a cover, well, First of all, "She's a Woman" is one of my favorite Beatles songs. Okay,
Yeah.
but it's like I'm listening to it. It's like, oh, oh, there it is. Now it's gone.
Yep.
Here it is. It slipped away again. Um, in which I admire.
Mhm.
I really did like that. And let's face it, kudos for the song title, Constipated Duck.
Constipated duck.
I was gonna
You
say.
know, if I ever have I'm in another band, yeah, yeah. Um,
When I open my bar, it's what it's going to be called. Constipated duck.
um, yeah, Jim was right. You know how this is just seeping into the what I refer to as jazz funk. For me, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
A
Um,
little goes a long way, you mean?
well, it depends on not everyone that does jazz funk does it the same way.
Hmm.
I love Jeff Beck's guitar playing. I always have, but I guess I wanted a little bit more variety
Okay.
because it was like, oh, here's a nice jazz funk next tune. Oh, okay, here's some more jazz funk. Mhm. Oh, good, we got a Beatles cover. All right, that's a nice break. What's next? Oh, we're back to the jazz funk.
Mhm.
It,
Yep.
I guess in some ways it's not my favorite genre, but I, but considering the artists that did it in the mid '70s, it depends. It depends on who it is.
Okay.
Having
Yep.
said that, what Jeff Beck does on top of all that is absolutely phenomenal. You know, he's known as one of the greatest guitar players um, of all time for a reason. And for what this album does, it does it exceptionally well.
Hmm.
It really does. It's not a wonder it's the held in as high regard as it is.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
And what's also interesting about this one is that it's not like Beck gets into a rut because the album after this, Wired, if memory serves, it's pretty bereft of the funk. I mean, obviously, there's some exceptional playing on there. His cover of Goodbye Pork Pie Hat is just
Well,
absolutely astounding.
and I
Yeah.
was more familiar with that album.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I was expecting from this.
Ah, okay.
And so, so like I said, for the first two songs, it's like, okay, here's a couple of jazz funk. That's cool.
Hmm.
But the fact that it just kept down that road, um, you know, so yeah, my opinion might be tainted based on expectations. But like I said, for what it does, he accomplishes some amazing things on this album.
Hmm.
So if this is someone's wheelhouse, I'd make a straight beeline to it.
I have this album as a 5 pack through Sony, the five
Mm,
album classic collection.
yep.
I believe it's this album, Wired, uh, Live
Probably
with Jon Hammer.
here and there, probably.
Probably, yeah. It's in the Bermuda Triangle. It's in
Yeah.
the other room. I gotta go find it. But you know what? Uh, there's a reason why Brian May says that Jeff Beck is his favorite guitarist. That he finds loads of inspiration from listening to Jeff Beck.
Hmm.
Um, I will say that side two grabbed me more than side one,
Hmm.
because of the more, I guess you'd say more, I would say more funk jazz fusion kind of feel. Side two starts off with "Because We Ended as Lovers," dedicated to Roy Buchanan with thanks to Stevie Wonder. You get Stevie Wonder on your album playing clavinet. Come on,
Winning.
you're good. I mean, game over, game set match. You're done. I mean, like you've won the Super Bowl. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
especially in 1975,
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder playing
Exactly.
clavinet, baby.
Exactly. It continues with, Thelonious and, written by Stevie Wonder and Stevie Wonder's not even credited on the album, probably because of his contract with Tamla Motown,
Probably.
right? In
Probably.
terms of the probably. But Freeway Jam is great.
Bum, bum,
Uh
bum, 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 bum,
Diamond
bum.
Dust. I mean, he is a good album closer. I think I need to spend more time with side one.
Mhm.
Um, and the fact that he got George Martin to produce it,
Mhm.
like, my God, rock royalty right there, right?
Mhm.
Overall. So I mean, it's a good album, and I think if anyone watching, if you can get that five album pack from Sony, five album classics, get it because it is good, and I got it for like 25.95, so it's at a good price point.
There you go.
But
Beautiful.
yeah, no, I like the album. Like I said, I need to sit with side one a little more, but it's a good album. It is a good album.
Frankly, I gotta say, I think um, it's amazing that we have albums like this from Jeff Beck because having just read a Zeppelin biography, which talks a lot about the early years of, Page and Beck, rubbing elbows. Beck comes off as fairly flaky and unreliable and very, mercurial might be too nice of a word.
Okay.
Um, so just the fact that he was able to focus and be in one place and produce something as great as, Blow by Blow and Wired and, with the Jan Hammer group and all that. I'm grateful for that. That's like finally they were able to get him at the right place at the right time
Yeah.
and just turn him on and he went.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually got that set just shortly after he passed.
Hmm.
So I was able, I was not that I was jumping on any bandwagons. I was just looking for different music to listen to, like to jump into different things and just to sort of challenge myself, I guess, like
Yeah.
discover something new, right? So,
Hmm.
um, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, 50th album anniversaries for the month of March 1975, part two. I want to thank Mr. Ken Cheshire and the man of the hour, the disappearing, reappearing Jim Bricker, um, for this episode. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, please put down in the comments your opinions of these albums, or again, let us know of any other albums that we may have missed on
Sure.
this list.
It's
You know what I
possible.
mean? I mean, there's a bunch of them, and there's a bunch of them coming up for the following episodes.
We've got another Henry Cow Slap Happy combination album to review, don't we, gentlemen?
Thank you for the warning. Okay.
We should invite Bill because Bill was like, "Wow, Slap Happy and Henry Cow. That's great. Way to go, guys." So,
Sure. Thanks, Bill. Love you, but
love
Yeah.
you, Bill.
all right, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, please, again, put your comments down below. We'd love to hear from you. We, I gotta put this, we love doing these shows together. We get along very well. Okay. And you know what? It shows. I mean, we have fun, but we are serious about what we're doing, and we do enjoy doing these shows and presenting them to you. So again, please put your comments down below. And again, maybe we missed something. We don't claim to know everything. We're just giving you our take on albums that we want to present to you. So again, for Ken and Jim, I'm Armando. Signing off again, please click like and subscribe and hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content that I've got coming up. We've got more shows coming up, and yeah, some really
Yeah.
good ones too.
You
So,
betcha.
dare I
Oh
say it,
yeah.
our top five Miles Davis albums. That's coming up. Okay. Um, We're going to be doing an episode again, continuing with the Miles Davis theme of A Kind of Blue. And Jim's gonna take the lead on that one, and I'm just gonna sit there with a bowl of popcorn and just watch. Okay, as he talks about it.
Oh,
All right.
great.
But we're
Let's go watch
no
some
Talking
butter on
grass
the
Heads.
grow
pop,
too.
no butter on the popcorn, no salt, just plain popcorn. It's good for the diet. Anyways,
Yeah, we
uh,
got Talking Heads coming too soon
also
too.
yes,
And some Elvis Costello, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
yes, two musical guides to Elvis Costello and Talking Heads also coming up. I should have mentioned that. My apologies. It's been a long days.
You've had a lot going on, sir.
That's right.
This is a collaboration. We got you covered.
Yes, I appreciate that. So again, for the reappearing and disappearing Jim Bricker and Mr. Kincheshire, I'm Armando Venditti signing off. We'll see you soon with more videos. All right, bye for now.